Alright, Arrow fans, time to take a look at the second episode of the day, which is The Recruits. The scene begins with Wild Dog pursuing down a suspect. At the point when he outings and tumbles off the edge of a structure, however, Green Arrow gets him with a bolo bolt. Oliver comes to fast in and out talk and offers him a chance to join Team Arrow. Back at the refuge, Curtis bows ritually at the salmon's stepping stool. Oliver assures that he has further to go than the remainder of the innocent people, so he'll be tested the most. He tells the group that every one of them three will be wearing veils while they train the enlisted people, since they don't have the foggiest idea about the volunteers yet. Somewhere else, Diggle is going to lead a military activity in Chechnya. At a short gathering, he coaches a youthful warrior who's frightened about going on the mission, his first. At the workplace of the chairman, Oliver perfectly pitches Armor Tech to endorse a free clinical occasion that can assist take with minding up the casualties of the city's wrongdoing pandemic. Oliver tells Thea after they've left that he's assembling another group. She understands this implies she's stuck covering his butt more at the City Hall leader's office for a long time to come, so she begins attempting to assemble her very own group. At the refuge, Oliver provokes the volunteers to an activity, attempt to move beyond him and ring a bell. They all come up short, more than once. In the flashback, Green watches them exercise again, aside from Oliver as one of the volunteers, and it's Bradva who are facilitating. In Starling City, a man discussing stops to give a destitute person some cash. However, when he leaves, the destitute person ends up being a hooded, battered figure who assaults him from behind. Back at the nest, Oliver uncovers that the man assaulted is in the ICU after apparently being covered. The man was the VP at Armor Tech, the organization that was assisting Oliver's foundation occasion. The Armor Tech CEO needs to pull out because of worries of well-being and legitimate concerns. Oliver guarantees that the city will acknowledge obligation if anything occurs, and they will significantly increase police nearness at the occasion, so she consents to remain. Aboard, Diggle's activity turns out poorly. Two men are shot very soon, and one of them, still alive, accepts that the miscreants realized they were coming. At the den, Green Arrow is sad yet beating on the enlisted people. They're beginning to get unsettled. Before the encounter can heighten, however, Leslie summons Green Arrow and discloses to him that they have film demonstrating the assailant of the Armortech VP was upgraded somehow or another. Leslie persuades him to carry the group with him to the Foundation occasion. He does, and it's anything but an impractical notion. The Armortech CEO is assaulted very quickly after the occasion begins by a man who appears to have living apparel contacting choker. Oliver gets a shot in at the ragman, however. The young lady is in the line of sight. Wild Dog, not an alpha yet converted as a volunteer, handles them and dispatches a piece. Back at the den, Oliver detonates at the volunteers for not avoiding sight like he requests them. Felicity pulls away to reveal to him that Wild Dog got some proof from the ragman. Oliver leaves to go manage the aftermath of the occasion at the civic chairman's office. At Diggle's operation, the evil warrior Peptic earlier is harmed, and the two choose to case the structure. Not long after they split up, Diggle is incapacitated by gathering American troopers who are going to take the weapon. They are apparently there to escape the hands of the renegades. At the police division, Felicity gives a cloth and looks very loaded up with lights about where it originated from to her sweetheart to get it dissected in the light of the fact that the PCs in the Arrow Cave are down. At the City Hall leader's office, the house recruited on Quentin so as to assist him with slithering out of the jug. However, Oliver objects, and afterwards gives bookman for Felicity and leaves. Montauk and Artemis has stopped the group as of now, and Curtis and Felicity are vexed. Oliver discloses to Curtis that the objective of the activity was to get the three of them to work together. Curtis shouts at Oliver about what a terrible pioneer he is, and says he stops as well. But 1 Felicity later, Oliver is pouting about bombing the enlisted people, and he reveals to her that he was utilizing profit strategies, dispersonalizing individuals so the losing them doesn't hurt you on the volunteers. He thinks part about the explanation of the volunteer Marrow hurt him so much. The explanation of the fall of Team Arrow hurt him so much is that he let them in. Felicity reveals him as Oliver Queen, not the Green Arrow. She's to follow, thus will the enlisted people. In the flashbacks, Oliver makes sense of how to ring the chime and beat the activity by cooperating. He convinces the Prophet enlisted people to follow his lead. However, after he wins, the others are executed by the lieutenant. Back in the present, Thea sees to see if Arbortech make an arrangement to buy his church to offer him enough weaponry to assume control over a nation. Abroad, the deserted officers murdered Dick's young enlist revealed to him that he's tackled their concern. At the City Hall leader's office, Thea tells Oliver what she realized, and she and Felicity are disappointed when he just attempt to fix it all alone as opposed to utilizing the group. En route, Felicity uncovers that the cloth is a great many years old and such a radiation from Genesis bombs steaming dark propelled, like the active one Diggle has been pursuing down. Green Arrow penetrates churches gathering Arbortech's CEO, however not before Ragaman does. Ragaman, things being what they are, is afraid to discover equity for the main bomb that discovered its imprint on Genesis Day, though Felicity dropped on Haven Rock. Felicity watches him disclose this to the Arbortech CEO while Oliver is getting beaten on by Church. However, finally before Church can cut him with a bolt, Oliver yells to Ragaman, who throws Church. The Arbortech CEO escapes. However, Oliver advises him to release her, that it's finished. On a housetop, Oliver interfaces with Ragaman, who has spared him on Genesis Day by giving him the Ragaman suit. Oliver reveals to him that his dad would have needed some the better for him, not for him to be a wrathful killer. Oliver sees that he needs a group and he can't do only it. He solicits Ragaman to respect the heritages from their dads together, and the pair shake hands. In Russia, Oliver challenges Anatoly and says that the initial segment commencement is understanding that just a single he can trust is himself. In Chechnya, the German warriors are asking Diggle to sign a mission that he slaughtered the fighter from before. Diggle can't. And the top of the screen one says that this men will affirm against Diggle, so good karma will escort military. At City Hall, Quentin appears for a gathering with Thea and attempts to exit, saying that he realizes she's made sense of his drinking. She extends him the deputy mayor employment opportunity on the condition he quits drinking. She approaches him to do it for Laurel. At the lair, Oliver goes to Felicity that he permitted Church to socialize an improvement of him to trust Reichman. That he's not done at this point. The volunteers are sitting tight for him, and he exposes to request that they return and remain with him. Everybody signs on, despite Wildog borrowing his code name. Outside of a dance club, Tobias Church is beaten seriously by a man who calls himself Prometheus and says that Green Arrow is his to execute. So let's take a look at a piece of trivia from this episode. During a conversation around the 35-minute mark, a sign can be clearly seen in the background for the Bam's Great Muay Thai Training Center. This is not to the episode's director, James Bamford, who was also Arrow's supervising stunt coordinator. And now let's take a look at a couple goofs. At 12:58, when Diggle throws a grenade into a side room, the ceiling is seen collapsing before the grenade explodes. Lucy says she's been waiting 5 years to make the joke about Oliver being too green. However, at this time, Oliver has only been a vigilante for 4 years, and Felicity has known his identity for 3 years. The Genesis Day warhead that detonated was Russian in origin. Even if private companies were involved in the manufacture of ICBMs in the Arrowverse, an American company like Amertech would not be making them for Russia. That's a good point. So I think this episode is kind of good, and yeah, I just wish Oliver would kind of go easy on the people being part of Team Arrow 2.0, but what do I know? So yeah. So overall, I give the recruits 3 arrowheads out of 5. My name is Tina Biz. We took a final episode of the day, A Matter of Trust. So until then, in the words of Oliver Queen, you have failed this city.